Hello friends, we have studied normal subgroup. We have defined normal subgroup and some properties of normal subgroup we have studied. And for normal subgroup we know n is normal in G. If for all G belongs to G, n belongs to n, G n G inverse is again in n. So this is the definition of normal subgroup, and further we have some lemmas. When G is normal, n is normal in G, if we have n G inverse is equal to n, the first condition. And second, we have every left coset is equal to right coset, that is an is equal to na, then n is normal in G. And further, third result we have is product of two right cosets is again a right coset, then n is normal, and that we have proved last time, that is nan into nb is equal to nab. So these are the three important conditions for normal subgroup. Now we shall define normal subgroups are important. With the help of normal subgroup we will define quotient group, and we have written definition for quotient group. As see, this is the definition for quotient group. Let G be a group and n be a normal subgroup of G. The quotient group, or it is also called a factor group of G in n, is denoted by G by n and is defined as the collection of all right coset of n in G. Or in other way, we define G by n is equal to na. Na is right coset, and all the right cosets together will define the quotient group. Now that means simply the quotient group is collection of all right cosets. Now we shall have this as a result as this theorem number 3. If G is a group, n is normal subgroup of G, then this quotient group G by n is also a group. It is itself a group, that we shall prove. Now we consider the proof. To prove this is a group, we shall have to prove G by n satisfies all the axioms of group, properties of group. We have G by n set of right cosets na of the form like this. And remember, for quotient group, the right coset is same as the left coset. Why? Because n is normal, and if n is normal, we have this second result. Every left coset is equal to right coset. So without considering left coset, we will consider it as a collection of right coset, but left and right here is the same thing. And we now prove first as closure property. We have to prove this is a group, and for that purpose, closure property, we shall consider two elements x and y in this quotient group, and we shall prove their composition is also in G by n. Let x comma y belongs to G by n, and because element of G by n is a right coset, so therefore we shall consider, therefore let x is equal to na and y is equal to nb. AB belongs to G. So these are the two right cosets in G by n. Now we shall consider the product x into y. So now x into y is equal to na into nb. And we have the third result, that is if n is normal, the product of two right coset is again a right coset, and that is n AB. This is our third lemma, and thus this xy belongs to G by n, and therefore G by n is closed. First property we have verified. Now second, associative. Now to verify associative law, we will consider let xyz belongs to G by N. 3 elements. Let xyz belongs to this quotient group G by N. And further, the element of G by N is right coset. We will consider let x is equal to Na, y is equal to Nb, and z is equal to Nc. For some ABC belongs to G. These are the right cosets because quotient group has the right coset, collection of all right cosets. And now we have to prove the associative property. For that purpose, we consider as now x into y into z is equal to x is Na, y is Nb, z is Nc, and this is equal to Na. Now as like this, Nb into Nc, product of two right cosets, is again a right coset. So therefore we write this as Nbc. And again these are two right cosets. Their product is again a right coset, and the product we have defined earlier as like this, ABC, NABC. And this is a right coset. So therefore further we can write this as equal to N A. Instead of now grouping this NB and NC, we can group this as AB into C. And further now we can write this as Na into Nb into Nc. Associative law. Since ABC belongs to G, and in G the product is associative. So here we may consider as associative law. ABC belongs to G, and in G product is associative, and then that will be Na into Nb, or which is equal to, that is equal to x into y into z. So this is x, this is y, and this is z, and thus we have x into yz is equal to xy into z, and therefore the associative law holds. Now third thing is identity element. For group we are verifying these axioms. This is to be a group that we have to show, and now we have E belongs to G because E is identity with the identity of G. Now N is equal to Ne by definition of identity element. If every element is multiplied by identity element, the element remains unchanged, and therefore N is equal to Ne. E is a right coset. This is a right coset, and because E belongs to G, and therefore this Ne belongs to G by N. It is of the form Na, where A is E. So this belongs to G by N. And we claim that this is the identity element, and therefore let Na or x is equal to Na belongs to G by N, an element. As earlier we have considered, the element in G by N is of the right coset, and to show it is an identity element, it must satisfy the property of identity element. Therefore, now x into N is equal to, you see what is x? X is Na, and what is N? N is Ne. So x into N is Na into Ne, and Na into Ne is N of A, and that is again Na, and therefore it is equal to x. Thus x into n is equal to x. Also, we may check this n into x. N into x will be n into na, and that is again n ea and again na by identity. It is x. So this shows that n is the identity. So thus n is the identity element. Identity element of G by n. And last remains is the inverse. Inverse element. Every element in G by n must have inverse. So we shall consider let Na belongs to G by n. A belongs to G. Now we shall have n A inverse also belongs to. So because A belongs to G, A inverse belongs to G. Therefore, A inverse belongs to G because G is a group, and therefore this implies n A inverse is a right coset and it belongs to G by n. So for Na belongs to G by n, n A inverse is also in G by n. And now what is the composition or product of this? Now Na into n A inverse is equal to n A into A inverse by definition of product of two right cosets, and A into A inverse is E, or this is equal to Ne, or which is equal to n, and that is the identity element. Also Na inverse into Na, this is equal to n A inverse into A, but A inverse into A is again identity, and this is same as n is equal to n. N is the identity element, where we have proved here n is the identity of G by n, and this shows that the product of these two results identity element means these two are inverses of each other, and therefore inverse of Na is equal to n A inverse, and thus inverse exists for every element in G by n. And thus all the four axioms or properties of group are satisfied by this quotient group G by n, and thus G by n is a group, and this is what we wanted to prove. Hence G by n is a group, and this proves the theorem. Now we shall consider a lemma, and this will be our lemma 12. Let G be a finite group if G is a finite group and n is normal in G, means normal subgroup in G, then IGN is equal to order of G divided by order of n. So what is the meaning of this that we shall see? G is finite group and n is normal subgroup of G. Then IGN means index of n in G, or that means number of right cosets of n in G. That is the meaning of IGN, and we will write first that. And further, we will use the Lagrange's theorem for this lemma. Proof for this: G by n is the set of right coset of n in G. We have G by n is the collection or set, collection of all right cosets of n in G. And also IGN is the index of n in G, that is the number of right cosets, number of distinct right cosets of n in G. And that means this is the same number of distinct right cosets of n in G, or that means IGN is the total number of right cosets of n in G, means order of G by n. So because G by n is the collection of right cosets of n in G, and that number means order. So order is the number of distinct right cosets of n in G. So therefore IGN is equal to order of G by n, because G by n contains the number of right cosets. And what we have to prove is IGN is equal to order of G divided by order of n. Or further, now since G is finite, and n is a subgroup which is normal, n is a normal subgroup of G. We apply Lagrange's theorem. What is the Lagrange's theorem? If G is finite and H is a subgroup of G, then order of H divides order of G. So here what we will have, n is subgroup, so order of n divides order of G. Then by Lagrange's theorem, order of n divides order of G. And there are order of n divides order of G. This is the divisibility relation, not the quotient. So that means the number of distinct right cosets is equal to order of G divided by order of n. And IGN is equal to number of right cosets, or we have written here number of IGN is number of right cosets, distinct right cosets, is equal to order of G divided by order of n. So thus the result may also be considered as this is order of G by n is equal to order of G divided by order of n. Or here this is IGN can also be written as order of G by n. Order of G by n means number of distinct right cosets in G by n. It is denoted by index, we have defined it earlier, and is equal to order of G divided by order of n. This follows by Lagrange's theorem. This is divisibility relation, or by Lagrange's theorem we may write in words, so that division and quotient will not be confused. So then by Lagrange's theorem, order of m divides order of G. So, and we have the IGN, that means index of n in G is equal to order of G divided by order of n. So you refer the Lagrange's theorem, there we have clearly proved that G contains a collection of distinct right coset fill up the whole G, means order of n divides order of G, and the number of distinct right coset is given by order of G divided by order of n, and this is order of G by n means index of G in n, and this proves the lemma. So thus we have proved the result. Now we shall consider an example to understand clearly what is the meaning of quotient group. So this example will help us to construct a quotient group. So, example of quotient group. an example of quotient. Let G is equal to I be the set or be the group of all integers under addition. So we know this is a group, all integers form a group, or that is G is equal to all integers 0 plus minus 1 plus minus 2 plus minus 3 and plus minus 4, etc. This forms a group under addition. You note the operation is not multiplication but addition. Now we shall consider n as, consider the set n be the set as all multiples of 3. Let n be the set of all multiples, integral multiples or integer multiples of 3. Then what will be n? We have to multiply the elements, all integers, by 3, and we get 0 into 3, that is 0, and the next will be plus minus 3 plus minus 6 and plus minus 9 plus minus 12, etc. This will be n. Now what we shall state here, that n is a normal subgroup of G. Then n is a verify this, normal subgroup. Why it is a normal subgroup of G? See, only we have to verify it is a subgroup. Then it becomes normal because addition is commutative, and this group is a commutative group, abelian group, and this is also this subgroup is commutative, or this subgroup is abelian. A abelian subgroup is always normal subgroup. Now it is whether it is a group, it satisfies the properties. What are the two properties required for subgroup? That is, it is non-empty, and then closure. Closure. See, addition of any two integers. The addition is operation. Addition of any two integers in n is again a multiple of 3, and therefore the closure property is satisfied. And what is inverse? Inverse obviously satisfies, because we see we have written the elements in pairwise, plus minus 3. These are inverse of each other. Plus a and plus 3n and minus 3n are inverse of each other. 6 and minus 6 are inverse, and so on. So if these two properties are satisfied, this becomes a subgroup, and it is normal because it is commutative. So therefore n is a normal subgroup. And when after having a normal subgroup, now we shall form a quotient group. See the definition. G be a group, this is the group we have considered. N be normal subgroup of G. A normal subgroup is to be formed, and then the quotient group we have to form. The quotient group or factor group of G in N is the collection of all right cosets of N in G. That is, now we have to form the right cosets of N in G. So we consider the right cosets of N. We consider the right cosets of N as n plus 1 and n plus 2. Now you note here NA is not n into A but n plus A, because the operation is addition. NA is n plus A, since the composition operation is addition. And now what will be this? First right coset is n, which is the same. Therefore n is equal to, but we will write like this, separate elements, not in this combination. We write negative elements, then 0 and then positive elements. So I shall write this as minus 9 minus 6, minus 3, 0, 1, then not 1 but 3, 3, 6, 9 and so on. These are the elements in n. Now what is n plus 1? Add 1 to these elements. It is simple. And therefore these will be, add 1 means it will be minus 8. Add 1, that is minus 5, minus 2, 1, 4, 7, 10, etc. What is n plus 2? Add 2 in n or add 1 in n plus 1. So therefore the element we shall get as minus 7, minus 4, it is minus 1, 2, 6, 9, 11, etc. So these are, we have for right cosets of n in G, that is n plus a. And a is, we have considered 0, 1 and 2 here. And what is why only the 3 cosets we have for? Now we claim that these are the only 3 right cosets of n in G and no more. So we claim that these are the only right cosets. These are the only or all the right cosets. These are the only or all the right cosets. Right cosets of n in G. And union of these 3 right cosets will be entire G. You may verify this that what are the elements of G are in the union of n and n plus 1 and n plus 2. 0 is there, 1 is there, minus 1 is there, then 2, minus 2, 3, minus 3 and so on. So every integer is covered in the union, but we shall prove like this. These are the only or all right cosets of n in G. Consider an element A in G, and we should have to show this A is either in n or n plus 1 or n plus 2. Now for that purpose let A belongs to G. Let A belongs to G be an integer, any integer. Now we divide this integer by 3 and use division algorithm. Dividing A by 3 and by division algorithm. We have A is equal to, A is divided by 3 and therefore we can write B is the quotient, 3B, and C is the remainder, where B is quotient and C is remainder. See, A is divided by 3, let the quotient be B, then this will be 3B and remainder is C. So therefore A minus 3B is C, or A is equal to 3B plus C, usual division that we have studied in number theory, where 0 is less than or equal to C is less than 3, where B is quotient, and C is the remainder. And because C is remainder, C lies between 0 and less than 3, means up to 2. Therefore C is equal to either 0, if the division is complete, we get, when we divide by 3, there are 3 possibilities for the remainder. We know this, we have studied this in number theory. So C is equal to 0, 1 or 2. These are the values. Now we consider this one by one. If C is equal to 0, then what will be the number? A. See, when C is equal to 0, what is A? A is equal to, you observe here, A is equal to 3 and 3B, B is integer, B is the quotient, integer, and when n, A is 3B, that belongs to n, because n is all multiples of 3 and this is a multiple of 3. So therefore this belongs to n. Thus, so the number A will belong to n if the remainder is 0. That is the first case. Now when C is, the remainder is 1. What is that number? A is, C is 1. Then this will be 3B plus 1. 3B plus 1. And now you see 3B plus 1, multiple of 3 plus 1 is the element in n plus 1. We have written here. And therefore, or 3B belongs to n, therefore this is n plus 1. Or you may observe here, n plus 1 are the elements 3B plus 1. So this belongs to n plus 1. Or since 3B belongs to n, and therefore 3B plus 1 belongs to n plus 1. And when C is equal to 2, what will be A? A is 3B plus 2. And 3B plus 2 will belong to n plus 2. Because 3B belongs to n, and therefore 3B plus 2 will belong to n plus 2, integers of this form. So this belongs to n plus 2. And thus, every time, whatever the remainder, either 0, 1 or 2, or you may write 0 or 1 or 2, then this element A, which is in G, any integer, is either in n or in n plus 1 or in n plus 2. And thus all the integers are covered by these right cosets, and therefore there are only these 3 right cosets of n in G. So this shows that A belongs to this n or n plus 1 or n plus 2, and therefore we have n plus A, or we can consider n plus A is equal to, separately we will have n plus A is n plus 3B plus C. N plus, what is A? A is 3B plus C, and again this is n plus 3B and plus C. But what is n plus 3B? Say multiple of n is multiple of 3 and 3B is also multiple of 3. So n plus 3B is again in n. So or actually n plus 3B is equal to n. So therefore this is equal to n plus C, where C is equal to 0 or 1 or 2. And thus n plus A is either in n plus A means either n or n plus 1 or n plus 2, according as C is 0, 1, 2, 3. And therefore the only right cosets of n are these. And we defined the quotient group as collection of right cosets. Therefore, all the right cosets of n in G are n, n plus 1 and n plus 2. And the collection of right coset is defined as the quotient group. Is the collection of all right cosets, and therefore we have the quotient group of G by n as G divided by n, or we write like this, is equal to collection of right cosets n, n plus 1, n plus 2. So this is the construction of quotient group. So that we have seen, considering G as the set of all integers, operation as addition. Then we have considered n as integers multiple of 3, and then that n is normal, and that n gives 3 distinct right cosets, n, n plus 1 and n plus 2. So therefore the quotient group of G by n gives these three elements n, n plus 1 and n plus 2. Now we may verify that this is this forms a group. That also we have stated as a theorem, and here it can be easily verified. Now what is the addition for G by n? Now I shall write here addition in G by n. Now what are the two elements in G by n? Elements in G by n is of this form. This n can be considered as n plus 0, n plus 1, n plus 2. It is n plus a. So we have addition in G by n as na plus nb. Na as n plus a plus n plus b is equal to right cosets. Instead of na we have n plus a, and operation everywhere is plus. So this is equal to n plus a plus b. This is the addition operation. Instead of usual, what is the operation? Usually we have na into nb is equal to nab, and here there is plus operation, n plus a plus here also there is a dot, but we have not written dot, and n plus b. This is n plus a plus b, like this. So this is the operation addition in G by n. Now the closure property can be verified. Say first closure. You may only observe, and by observation we can verify the closure property. So n is identity, and n plus 1 is the same, n plus 1. N plus 2 is again n plus 2. We will add these two. What is n plus 1 plus n plus 2, and this results n plus 3 by this. You see, n plus 1 plus 2, that is n plus 3. And n plus 3 is again equal to n. Why? Because n is the set of integers which are multiple of 3, and this is also a multiple of 3, and therefore the resulting element will be a multiple of 3, and therefore n plus 3 is equal to n. You remember this. And n plus 2 plus n plus 2, suppose the same number is added, then what we shall get is n plus 4. But this n plus 4 can be written as n plus 3 plus 1, and n plus 3 is equal to n. Therefore this is equal to n plus 1, and thus this belongs to G by n. This also belongs to G by n, and the closure property is verified. Only 3 elements are there, and thus G by n is closed. Now what about associative remaining properties? Associative second property is, and we can observe that let Na, Nb, Nc belongs to G by n. Like, so only 3 elements are there. You can consider the 3 together and verify the associative property. So that is Na plus n plus a. So this is not the case. We have to write n plus a. Instead of Na, it is n plus a. N plus a, n plus b, n plus c belongs to G by n. Then n plus a plus n plus b plus n plus c. This can be written as n plus a plus n plus b plus c. Addition of these two. And again this is equal to n plus a plus b plus c. Or we can write this as n plus a plus b plus c. And then this can be written as n plus a plus n plus b plus n plus c, and which is the associative property. So the associative property holds. And the G by N is associative. What about the next, that is identity? Identity obviously is N. As in the earlier theorem, we have shown the identity element. Identity N belongs to G by N is the identity. Since N plus 1 is N plus 1 and so on. And what about the inverse? Or let N plus A belongs to G by N. Then N plus 3 minus A belongs to G by N is the inverse element. Where A is, say N plus A belongs to G by N. What is the A? A is equal to either 0, 1, 2. N plus A, 0, 1 or 2. And then what is N plus 3 minus A will also be in G by N, because 3 minus 0 is 3, N plus 3, and N plus 3 is actually N. So that belongs to G by N. N plus 3 minus 1 is N plus 2, that is there, and N 3 minus 2 is N plus 1, and that is in G by N. So now what about the composition of these two? N plus A plus N plus 3 minus A. This is equal to N plus A plus 3 minus A, or that is equal to N plus 3, and this is equal to N. N plus 3 is N, we have seen. N is a multiple of 3 and this is also a multiple of 3. Their addition is a multiple of 3 and therefore it is equal to 3. And thus this shows that it is identity is equal to identity. Identity of G by N. And what this shows, these two are inverses of each other. Therefore N plus A, its inverse is equal to N plus 3 minus A. And you may verify this as, what is the inverse of N? It is itself. Inverse of N is the same. And what will be inverse of N plus 1? So N plus 1 inverse is equal to N plus 3 minus 1. And that is N plus 2. And similarly, inverse of N plus 2 is N plus 1. Inverse of N is N itself. This shows that inverse exists. And therefore inverse exists for every element. In G by N. And this proves this G by N is a group. So this is an example to understand the meaning and concept of quotient. That's why we have considered this. We have formed a G, group G as all integers, N as all integral multiples of 3, and then quotient group will contain these right cosets, and this also forms a group. So try to understand the theorem and example on quotient group. So remaining part we will continue next time. Thank you.